Yes, good Thursday morning, one and all. Thursday night football tonight, Giants and Niners out in the Bay Area. We'll get into that. I'm Mark Malusis. He, of course, is Keith Arizari, as you can see on the Chiron below our beautiful faces here on this Thursday morning. We got you for the next hour right here on the Better Sports Network. We're usually here with you Mondays and Fridays from 11 to noon. Not this week, Monday and Thursday this week. Back next week on Monday morning at 11 a.m. A lot to get into. Jim Coventry will join the program a little bit later on. Keith, good morning, bro. How are you?
I am fantastic. Had a nice morning today. I'm ready to rock. I think that there are storylines galore in all sports, but I know we're going to go very NFL centric today.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's a big day. We got some real-time picks a little bit later on in the program as well, some fantasy football takes, and some look ahead to, amazingly enough, week 3 of the NFL. It is like basically a tornado in terms of how quickly everything goes. I mean, you're in the spin zone now. Once you hit week 1, all of a sudden, blink of an eye, it's going to be Halloween, then Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's how the National Football League rolls, because now you've got games on, Thursday nights and all day Sunday and Sunday night and Monday night. And, basically right when those, and now that he had 2 games this past Monday night, 2 games this Monday night, it's fun. I love the doubleheader on Monday Night Football. It's fantastic, but blink of an eye after you're done bleary-eyed watching the games on Monday night, and all of a sudden it's Thursday and you're ready for football again.
Yeah, I've noticed this over the last couple of years how quickly the NFL week goes, right? Because you're spot on. You finish it on Monday, and in theory, you'd be like, all right, well, I've 2 days to recoup. No, I don't, because if you're in the fantasy world, you've got to get all your waiver claims in. You're scouring the market on Tuesday. You're waking up early on Wednesday. And every league is so different too. And let's talk about this a little bit with the fantasy world. Moose, has there ever been a player in a league that you wanted so badly that you'll set your alarm for whatever time it is? No? Okay. People do that.
I know they do. No.
Yeah. No. So in one of the leagues I'm in.
Now my league was like, if I had invested like $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and you're trying to win like $100,000 at the end of the year, well, then basically you're all in. But I'm not in those kind of leagues.
There's one league that I'm in that doesn't include fab. So it's an old school league. It's waiver priority. It's stupid, but whatever. It's just the guy running it didn't want to change it. He likes it this way, right? So obviously Jerome Ford was going to be the big pickup this week. And if you're in a fab league, people were spending, $40, $50 on him, with the caveat of knowing that there was the, looming Kareem Hunt potentially going in. Yes, he ended up going in and they signed him, blah, 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 whatever. So in this one league, one guy at 2 a.m. Eastern time in our league is when the next day starts. He must have set his alarm for 2 o'clock in the morning because no one got Kareem Hunt, and he clicked on it, and we looked, and that was when the pickup was. It was like 2:01 a.m. was Kareem Hunt. Yeah.
Good for that guy.
It's not even that high price stakes. Like you said, like no, it's not thousands.
You're in it to win it.
Yeah.
I just don't have, honestly, I value sleep a little bit too much, to be honest with you. Like, I just do. I wasn't going to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, but good on that guy, Kareem Hunt. Hopefully he ends up becoming the guy. Watch him split carries with him and Ford.
I'm not rooting ill for Kareem Hunt, but I want this to fail for this guy who woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm rooting against him. Against him. His name's Chris. I'm rooting against him.
Sleep's important to me.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
I gotta be honest with you, especially when you have 3 kids. Sleep's important. You have 2 kids. You have children. Sleep's important.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I'm not waking up.
Maybe if I was a single man, and living a single life, and I was a gigolo working the town in New York City, maybe it would be something completely different. But maybe it's a case of. But now I've been married 15 years. I've got 3 kids. You know what? Sometimes you need the rest for your eyes. That's what it is.
What's the earliest you would wake up for a waiver claim?
Dude, I mean,
5?
Maybe 5.
5?
5.
Yeah. All right, let's put it this way. Let's say you – thank you, Better Cash.
David Lee Roth. Oh,
just a gigolo every way.
David Lee Roth, tremendous chest hair.
It does have a good coif of hair.
Yes, good chest hair. Well manicured.
Right, let's say you got home – let's say it was a later night at Picks. your late nights at picks, you get home at like 1 o'clock in the morning, right?
No, midnight.
Midnight. Okay.
Midnight.
So let's say you get home at 12, and let's say you weren't tired, and it's Tuesday night, and you know the waivers begin in your league.
I'll find a way to go to sleep.
Yeah, you're not staying awake for an extra
no,
hour.
because my kids are going to be up at 6:30 in the morning. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Not for Kareem Hunt, huh? Okay.
For all you guys that got Kareem Hunt, good luck for you. Well, you guys that got Ford, good luck for you as well. You feel terrible for Nick Chubb, who suffered what might be a career-ending injury against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Monday night after the hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick, and some debate about whether or not that was a clean hit or if it needed to be going after his knees, and obviously suffered a really significant knee injury when he was at Georgia. And saw the reports yesterday by Josina Anderson that he was in good spirits, and you might have to have 2 procedures. I mean, you wish the best for Nick Chubb because he's an unbelievable running back, and coming off a year last year in which he had, I think, 1,500 yards on the ground. So he's been an unbelievably productive running back, not just for the Cleveland Browns, for all you fantasy football owners out there as well. Want to focus in outside of Cleveland and the Hunt and Ford and Chubb stuff is, everything that's going on with the Chicago Bears, not their defensive coordinator, Alan Williams, more their quarterback, Justin Fields, because outside of Matt Deutsch, our boss here at Better Sports Network, there's not many and that are still on the Justin Fields train as far as being not just a good fantasy quarterback, but a franchise quarterback after what we've witnessed here the first 2 weeks of the NFL season. So, Brian, let's play the first cut. Here is when Fields met with the media and had an interesting comment about why he is struggling so much.
Wasn't necessarily playing my game. Felt like I was kind of robotic and not playing like myself. So my goal this week is just to say F it and just go out there and play football how I know how to play football. Thinking less and just going out there and, playing off of instincts rather than just, so much, so to say, info in my head, data in my head, and literally just going out there playing football. I mean, just going back. So it's a game. That's when, I play my best is I'm just out there playing free and being myself. So bump all the, what I should do, what I pocket stuff, like I'm gonna go out there and be me. So yeah.
When you're playing like yourself, what does that look like?
We'll see. So
when you say thinking less, what do you think was causing you to think so much, maybe think too much?
Could be coaching, I think. But at the end of the day, it makes it they're doing their job when they're giving me what to look at and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I can't be thinking about that when the game comes. I prepare myself throughout the week, and then when the game comes, it's time to play free at that point. So just thinking less and playing more.
All right, so there he is, and the headline obviously coming out of that was that Justin Fields is blaming the coaching staff of the Chicago Bears for his struggles through the first 2 weeks. Here's Fields then at his locker clarifying those statements.
You guys' jobs are to get clicks, so it's like when you take my quote out of context, when you just say that, if you paint the picture on the inside out, like y'all are trying to split us up as a team. I'm not blaming anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches, never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take whatever happens in the game, I will take all the blame. I don't care if it's a drop pass, it should have been a pass. Put it on me. But never will you hear anything come out of my mouth to where I will blame it on somebody else. In this organization, my teammates, never will you hear that. So I just want to clear that up and just know that, like, I need to play better. That's it, point blank. If y'all, that's what I should have said in the first place. But I was trying to give y'all more details because I appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do, and I try to give y'all the information y'all want for you guys' job. So I'm gonna do that, and in the future, but I ask you guys just to put the whole quote out. Don't cut it up into words and pieces to make it seem like I'm saying something that I'm not. So again, appreciate you guys what you do, and y'all have a pleasant. That's it.
All right, so there you go. You get it from Justin Fields. Number 1A, or I should say A, not number 1A. He did blame the coaches for giving him too much information and that he wasn't able to go out and play quick or lean on his instincts. And then to walk it back, and he wasn't kind of scolding the media, but saying that you're trying to split this team apart. No, you gave him the quote and you gave him the information, and you were being open and honest, and you were telling the truth. And that's why you feel like you were kind of overwhelmed, or you were thinking too much out there and you weren't reacting. And so you put it on the fact that you were probably overwhelmed with information. That's okay. I mean, sometimes we all take in information differently. Not everyone learns the same exact way. I mean, that's why you have specialty schools. Not everyone can sit down and read a book and take it all in. Sometimes people have to have their information, given to them or fed to them a little bit differently than everybody else. Doesn't necessarily mean you can't decipher it, can't understand it. It's just the way that the mind works. Everybody is a little bit different. So Fields was being open and honest, and then he went out there and just wanted to make sure to put a canister of water on the blazing fire that is in Chicago, that he wasn't going to go out there and completely torch his coaching staff or his struggles through the first 2 weeks, and said, I put it on myself.
Yeah,
but the initial answer was the right one.
Right. The initial answer was the true one, right? Like, so Moose, I've watched both of these clips numerous times. And I think by watching the body language, and I hate to be like, oh, we study body language, but it is something that, in what we do. And honestly, anybody, if you watch videos, you can kind of catch body language. The body language is that Justin Fields feels a bit defeated right now. And Justin Fields is probably blaming himself, subconsciously, but there is a part of him that is blaming the coaching staff for how they are calling this offense. There are 5 designed runs, for Justin Fields. Like, don't try to change Justin Fields, his game so immediately. From last year where he ran for over 1,000 yards, and what made him dynamic was the fact that it was, I know it sounds like not the right way, but it made him dynamic was the fact that his legs led to him being able to throw, not his throwing led to him being able to run, right? So there's a change there. Now let's go to the second part of the video, right? The second clip. The second clip was where I think he comes off a little petty, but with the media, but at least he didn't Zach Wilson this from last year and just go ahead and like blame everybody else but himself. In the second clip, he called the media back. He said, let's talk. Let me tell you what I really meant. I understand you guys are, trying to do your job. You need clicks. So he got his little dig in there by saying the clicks thing. I don't think this is as big of a deal as a lot of networks are making. I think the bigger deal is not him saying the word coaching, is the fact that he stinks so far through 2 weeks. I don't think it's what he said. It's his actions on the field. He hasn't been.
No, I mean, right. I mean, like, honestly, when he became the fantasy stud last year, aren't we handling or looking at the same thing? They improved the talent level around him, and now all of a sudden he's holding on to the football for an eternity, and he can't recognize open receivers down the football field. So it's easy to go out there and say, well, I'm just going to go and wing it. And here's the other thing. Like, the NFL quarterback has to, and this is why they take those, and that's why NFL players take those dopey tests and quarterbacks take those dopey tests at the Indianapolis Scouting Combine. And it's not a matter of judging the intellect. It's the matter of how quickly can you decipher information that is in front of you, and how quickly does your brain work to have an understanding of what you need to do next. Like, that's the whole point. It's not a matter of trying to tell me just how smart you are or how bright you are or how intelligent. It's how quickly does your mind work, because it has to work basically instantaneously in the National Football League, because you have to get rid of the football. Like, there's a reason why Joe Burrow gets rid of the football in 2.3 seconds. There's a reason why you can't hold on to the football for 4, 5, 6 seconds in the pocket, because that's going to result in a negative play, in all likelihood, a sack. Because your offensive line, even if it's great, still can't hold up for an eternity. So Fields has stunk. I mean, that's it. I mean, he's been bad as an NFL player. He's been bad as a fantasy player. He's been a massive disappointment through the first 2 weeks. We joked around about it. Remember the Tannenbaum tweet when they had the #1 overall pick, and he said, well, now you got to make a decision of what you're going to do. Is Justin Fields your guy? And you and I both laughed at it, rightfully so. I said, no, Fields is their quarterback. Fields is their franchise quarterback. And they ended up trading out of that pick, the #1 overall pick. We know Bryce Young, Carolina moved up. He's down in Carolina for Frank Reich and the Panthers. Now the question is, I mean, how bad is it going to get this year for Fields and the Chicago Bears? Because there are massive question marks outside of fantasy. There are massive question marks about exactly what Justin Fields is after what we've witnessed here through the first 2 weeks, because it's been a massive step backward from what we saw a year ago.
It's also an organization that doesn't seem to have the ability to help a quarterback grow. Mitchell Trubisky, Justin Fields.
good
Either
point.
they're picking the wrong guys or they don't know how to cultivate those crews. Hey, quickly, I know we're going to go to break, but Dylan Fink just wrote in, just traded Mostert for Ayuk in my 12-team full PPR, ? Good trade. My running backs are CMC and Cook. Wide receiver depth is now Diggs, Hopkins, Ayuk, Michael Thomas. I'm not a big fan. Hollywood, not a big fan. Later on, thinking of buying 2 of them for a better wide receiver too. My initial reaction is I don't necessarily want so many shares of San Francisco. Like, I think it's on the surface, Mostert for Ayuk is fine. But now you have Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey, and there might be weeks you're going to start them both. Do we think that's an offense that is going to be scoring 30 points per week? If you do, then I guess it works. I would be lukewarm on the trade.
I love Ayuk as a player.
Yeah.
I don't love having Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk on the same team.
Right. If I'm gonna want McCaffrey and someone else, then I want McCaffrey and Debo, or I want McCaffrey and Purdy. And I don't want Purdy. So there you go.
Right. Yeah. Or if you tell me, give me another elite level running back outside of Christian McCaffrey.
Just anyone, just in general.
Yeah, just anybody. Outside. I mean, Barkley's
Derrick
banged
Henry.
up. All right. So say if his running backs were Henry and Cook, and he traded Mostert for Ayuk. Like, I'd feel
Yes.
a little bit more favorable of that than having Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk on this.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
and San Francisco is going to have a lot of. I mean, the other thing is San Francisco is going to have, and here would be the concern I'd have as well, is they're probably going to have a lot of games in which they're leading by a great margin.
Yeah, they might.
So now you're going to say, okay, well, Ayuk's going to get a lion's share of those catches. Okay, but Debo Samuel, George Kittle, McCaffrey catching the ball out of the backfield. Like, there's a lot of ways that Brock Purdy can spread that football around. I just don't love having McCaffrey and Ayuk on the same team. That's
The
all.
thing I will
I like
say-
the trade. Like,
Yeah.
I would trade Mostert for Ayuk. I don't love making that trade with already having McCaffrey, who I love as a player.
Yeah,
But,
Dylan, I think you did. The one thing I think you did really well here is you sold high on Mostert. Raheem Mostert,
No doubt.
extremely talented. He can't stay healthy. We also don't know what the Dolphins are going to do with that running back situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Thursday night football, Giants and Niners tonight. Giants, last I checked, we were a 10-point dog, and there's like a who's who is not playing for Big Blue tonight. We'll get into that. He's Keith Arizari. I'm Mark Malusis. It's Moose and Keith with you right here on the Better Sports Network.
Jake Ferguson, I think, is going to be one of the biggest frauds in fantasy, to be honest. I'm trading Jake Ferguson in Dynasty for anything right now. I'm trading him in redraft if somebody will take him. He scored the touchdown on a 1-yard play this week, but this guy, last week, he played 75% of the snaps, only ran 50% of the routes. This week, we were hoping that would change. He only ran 21 of 43. Not even half again. So we were hoping he would improve from 50, worse than 50. So Jake Ferguson, not the guy we want. And you saw it. I mean, if you watch the game, they weren't locked in on anybody. They had Hayden Hendershot out there, got a goal line carry. Luke Schoonmaker, the rookie, scored a touchdown. Like, they are not committed to just one tight end. And if you have CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks and Tony Pollard, if the tight end isn't playing every single snap, then he's not relevant. I mean, even if the one guy was playing every snap, you're not going to get a Dalton Schultz because there was no Brandon Cooks last year, and Michael Gallup was coming off an ACL. So the conditions changed, and now this guy's playing a partial snap share. Sell Jake Ferguson now. And people tell me, oh, Dak Prescott loves throwing the tight end. That's not even true. There was a guy on Reddit that just posted a study. His name is, like, I Call Cats or something like that. Great study, though, that showed that Dak Prescott doesn't target the tight end on an above average level. I mean, CeeDee Lamb got 156 targets last year. 156. And Michael Gallup and Noah Brown combined for 150. So, and the running backs combined for 85. So what is it? Does he love the tight end, but he also loves CeeDee Lamb, and he also loves the other wide receivers, and he also loves the running backs? Or just Kellen Moore just throw the ball a ton? That's what it was, right? So it's like this whole he loves the tight end situation, that's not even true, right? Or he just loves everybody. Maybe he does love the tight end, but clearly he loves CeeDee Lamb. No, like clearly he loves the running backs. So just don't worry about it. Forget about it. Trade Jake Ferguson for whatever you can get right now.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
A little clarification, Dylan Fink. He's got Tony Pollard, not McCaffrey.
So now I like the trade a lot.
Yeah, now you like the trade. All right,
Yeah.
let's get into the Thursday night game tonight. Giants.
Can I read you one quick tweet?
Sure.
Can I read you one quick tweet? So Patrick Mahomes was talking, and he had some advice for Justin Fields. Just want to read this really quick, and then we'll get into the games. Trust your talent, trust your instincts. He's here for a reason. He's made a lot of big plays happen in the NFL and college. Just trusting in your instincts, and then go out there, be the player you've always been, just not against us, hopefully. Because the Bears and the Chiefs play this week.
Yeah, they play this week. There you go. Good advice from Mahomes.
Yeah, that's good.
He's making $53 million a year. No
Oh,
doubt
he
about
made
it.
$53
And he's the best quarterback in the National Football League and the
Yes.
reigning MVP. But good advice from Patrick Mahomes. And really for everybody, go out there, trust your talent, trust your ability, here for a reason. Love that. Giants night in San Francisco, Thursday night game. Quick turnaround for Big Blue following their come back from 20-0 down in Arizona on Sunday, winning that game 31-28. And you've had the Giants in survivor pools. You were sweating bullets throughout the course of the game, but survive and advance, and you march on. And a much easier week this week, but not for those in knockout pools. For the Giants, not so much. I mean, they're staring flat out at a loss. Like, it's hard for me to look at this game tonight as the Giants are a double-digit dog, -10. Last I saw on the betting line, depending on the market, you're looking at 9.5, 10. High water mark I saw was like 10.5. Giants, no Saquon Barkley, who's been ruled out. Their franchise tackle, Andrew Thomas, left tackle, he's out for the game tonight. No Azeez Ojulari. Ben Bredesen, who is one of the guys that they rotate in and on one of their guard spots, he's out as well. I think he's dealing with a concussion. A litany. 4 starters are out tonight for the Giants against San Francisco. Oh, by the way, the 49ers might be the most impressive team here through the first 2 weeks. They're home, and the Giants have a short week. And now you have Daniel Jones. Now, the play calling, I think they'll be a little bit more vertical. I think they'll be a little bit more aggressive. I find it difficult, though, looking at the game tonight from just a betting perspective. I find it very, very difficult to, outside of it's football and you got to play the game and everybody's trying and they're lacing up there and they're, putting on their shoulder pads too. Outside of that, or you never know, that's why you got to go play the game. Outside of that, Keith, I find it very difficult to find a pathway for the Giants to keep this game within margin tonight.
You know what we do, right? We're supposed to sit here and tell you why you want to watch a game. I remember you and I had some fun with it on one of the games last year. You were like, oh, and this and that. And I'm like, would you really? And you're like, yeah, you're right. I guess there's nothing wrong. This is one of those interesting games because I think the Giants lose this game 31-13, something to that effect. So I think the Niners cover, right? So then I immediately turn, and my betting brain and my fantasy brain, Moose, it takes me to like player props, right? Let me ask you a question. Christian McCaffrey, I think he scored a touchdown in 11 consecutive games, right? What do you think? I don't know if you've looked at this yet. Bernsey, I see you wrote it to us. You gave him the answer. What do you think? Well, I can't do it anymore. The best price on McCaffrey anytime touchdown is -220. I was on my Bet Stamp app right here. So DraftKings -220. You got FanDuel at -270. Bet Rivers -250. PointsBet -275. It's crazy, right? So like I was trying to find a way. So I think tonight's a night where you have to parlay something. Maybe you go over to like the Better Cast and you check out like the free games that we have going on tonight.
I want to win NFL swag.
Yeah. I would like to win stuff. I don't know.
No
Are we
doubt.
allowed?
No, I don't think we're allowed. But it's awesome. You got to check it out. It's fun. It's fun, fantastic. Keith and I, we were part of it last year at times, hopping into the Better Cast. It's a cool event for everyone out there. So make sure you check that out. Time for the Thursday night game. Listen, I think there's ways to bet the game and make it more entertaining. And I gotta be honest with you, like we both live in New York, right? I'm around the Giants. I have to talk about the Giants. Like I'm going to be watching the game. I'm actually doing an NFL watch party tonight with Sean Landetta, former Giant.
That's fun.
Yes. So Giant watch party tonight. So I'm doing that this evening. So like the game to me is going to be fun. I just think when you've seen this Giant team go up against upper echelon teams, you saw it against Dallas week 1, that was 40-0. You saw it last year in the second round of the playoffs against the Philadelphia Eagles. They got completely and utterly destroyed. The Giants are an improved team, and they were obviously showed that improvement in the second half against Arizona. I just don't think they're anywhere close to what San Francisco is. And I think San Francisco would have to play like a C-level game where maybe Brock Purdy gets hurt, something like all of a sudden you're looking at Sam Darnold for this game to be close.
So I'm toying around. I went to DraftKings for this one. So if you took the Niners on the money line,
Yeah.
you put McCaffrey anytime touchdown, and then added in the Niners to get at least 28 points, that's the best way to get you into plus money at plus 135. I don't know if is that juice really worth the squeeze? Plus 135 for a 3-leg
Let me ask you,
parlay?
what about if we do, just because sometimes I'm a believer, things happen for a reason, right?
Okay.
So Dylan Fink fired us a question about Brandon Ayuk.
Sure.
So say we do McCaffrey anytime touchdown, Ayuk anytime touchdown, 49ers money line.
And take away the 27.5 points for
Yes.
the Niners. All right, we'll take that away. And you want an Ayuk anytime touchdown. We'll do this for Dylan Fink. That gets us to plus 275.
Yeah.
I mean, that's better.
That's better. I mean,
I like that.
because sometimes like you just have to like you ever have sometimes where it's not premonitions, but there's reasons why things happen or whatever, and it ends up playing out that way. Like people are, all of a sudden you read something just happen to catch your eye about like a potential for an upset over the weekend, and you're not thinking that way, and then all of a sudden that upset happened, and that just happened to, you kind of look back and you're like, oh yeah, I read that earlier in the week. This person so I don't know, maybe that's the reason. Ayuk anytime touchdown tonight, the Mandela effect. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll call that the Dylan DraftKings parlay.
That's it. The Dylan no doubt. I like
Dylan,
that.
you just got your own parlay.
Ayuk anytime touchdown, McCaffrey anytime touchdown, and the Niners win. Plus 275.
By the way, the anytime touchdown for McCaffrey just moved from the minus 220 to minus 255 now.
Minus 255.
Yeah. In the span of a couple of minutes. We got to stop talking sometimes.
Listen, I think, to me, it's either San Francisco or stay away.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the line, correct?
Yeah.
Would you ever, what would be the number you'd have to take the Giants tonight?
17.5.
Really?
I mean, I think they're going to lose. Like I said, I think they're going to lose by anywhere from 14 to 20 in that area. So if it was 17.5, I would consider the Giants.
If it was 17.5, you'd consider the Giants, but
maybe 15.5.
If it was, yeah, I don't
want to be a jerk.
If you're going to give me 15.5, I'd probably take the Giants.
Yeah, because they could lose 28-13 and you win.
Yeah, they could backdoor it too.
Yeah.
I mean, they could,
late touchdown,
right.
maybe a late Sean McVay field goal.
For sure. 15.5, I think, would be the number. I would not, at 10, I think it's either San Francisco or you stay away. You watch the Better Cast right here. You try and win some free NFL swag. And you play the Dylan DraftKings parlay.
Yeah.
Which is McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
Yep.
Ayuk anytime touchdown, 49ers win plus 275. Burns, can we tweet that parlay out, by the way, as our Thursday night Dylan Fink special?
I'll screen grab it and send it to you, Burnsy.
All right, beautiful. I want to remind everybody, start a free 7-day trial of Fantasy Alarm's All-Pro subscription today and get DFS content and NFL picks for all of the Week 3 for free. Go to fantasyalarm.com/win. fantasyalarm.com/win. Straight ahead, we're going to talk to Jim Coventry from RotoWire. He's going to join the program next. He's Keith Irizarry. I'm Mark Malusis. Happy Thursday, one and all. We got football tonight.
Woo!
It's Moose and Keith, Better Sports Network.
What can we expect from you out there on the track tonight?
Listen, I have a wife, 2 kids. I have, full-time jobs. I'm never nervous. I don't even know what that word means. Can you explain what nervous means? No. I'm ready to have fun. I've never done anything like this before. I got asked to be a part of this. This is fascinating. Like, it's so cool to just look around and see what goes on here. So I'm just excited to get out on the horse. And you want trash talk? Is that what you're asking me for? No trash talk. I hope everyone does well.
All right. Everyone's going to do well, but it has to be a winner. So give me your trifecta. Who's going to come in first, second, and third? Your heat.
I will go Maria 1, me 2, Willie 3, Moose goes 4th.
Well, it's very simple. I won this event last year. I won my heat, and so the defending champ has to be the favorite. Now, that makes me a little nervous just because I feel like it's hard to repeat. There's a little pressure when you're the favorite, but that being said, I'm still optimistic.
So your heat, it's you,
Yes.
Moose and Keith from Better Sports Network, and Willie Colon.
I think Keith might be my stiffest competition, and I asked for this because I actually recruited Keith, if you didn't know. So Keith, if you win, you're welcome.
Malusis is very good. I mean, he knows what he's doing, but I'm going to go with Maria.
Keith is waving to the crowd. He must pay attention because they're off. It's Mark Malusis going for the lead. Maria Marino on the outside, and now Keith Irizarry on the outside with speed, and they're 3 wide into the first turn. Woo! Mark Malusis is locked in for his life. 138 and 2. They're into the stretch. Sportscasters Derby 2. And still in front, Keith Irizarry. And now Mark Malusis is trying to squeeze on through. Come on! Back! Come on! Let's go! Come on, dig it! Dig it! Yeah! Keith Irizarry. Keith, you did it all the way, wire to wire. Over Mark Malusis.
Awesome! That was so cool. The champ is here. Keith, what was it like being out there? Adrenaline rush. You were doing the Instagram Live, so there was no panic. You looked cool, calm, collected the whole time, and you won it.
I felt really comfortable. I did. Like, I know you were joking with me before. Are you nervous? Are you whatever? What are you? David, the driver, was awesome. He's like, we're gonna win this. I said, all right, let's win this. And he said, let's go. Yeah, I just felt really comfortable. I did. It was fun. We're in the lead. I got Maria Marino on the right side of me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna beat us, right? And then out of nowhere, you see Moose coming up this way, and we feel him breathing down our neck. And I'm like,
Moose
no!
on the loose. Watch out.
Moose was definitely on the loose, and we just got Moose by a neck, a nose, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but again, all of this for a great cause, and it was absolutely awesome to do this. It was cool.
All right, Keith, congratulations, and no matter what, you could always hold this over Moose's head.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
I love that. I love that commercial. I love
That's
it.
great. It's
my
great.
favorite.
Congratulations. Victory. Hopefully I'll get my revenge this next May.
Oh, I
when we
can't
do it
wait till
again.
next May.
Jim Coventry joins the program now. Hit him up on Twitter, or X as we're calling it, at Jim and Coventry NFL from RotoWire. Good morning, Jim. How are you doing, bud?
Man, I'm getting on the horse with a couple of jockeys here. Life is good.
Jim, let's handicap it. Do you think I go back to back next year, or you think Moose upsets me? What do you think?
I think it's one of those sports where it's just going to be cyclical. I think an odd number of years it's Keith, even number of years it's Mark.
There you go. I love it, Jim. Want to get your thoughts. A couple things. Running back situation. Let's start in Cleveland. Obviously, feel terrible for Nick Chubb because who knows if we ever see him run the football again in the National Football League after what we saw Monday night against the Steelers. For fantasy owners out there, Ford and Hunt, the scenario out there in Cleveland, how do you think it plays out, Jim, fantasy-wise?
So Kareem Hunt was a declining player last year. It was very apparent seeing that he's not old enough to be like a declining player, but he is. And so he comes in because of familiarity with the system. I think that's the main thing. And they probably don't want Ford being on the field for every snap. No team wants to do that. Ford was seeing significant work with Chubb. So I do think, though, Hunt cuts into the receiving downs. I think Ford's going to be more of the first and second down runner. He'll see some passing work. I do think he'll see the majority of red zone work, but Kareem Hunt always was decent in the red zone, and they actually used him over Nick Chubb. So the player to roster is Ford, but I think that you could get flex value based on volume out of Hunt.
Monitoring the fab market. What was the fab market like this week for Jerome Ford? What were some of the numbers you were seeing?
Yeah, it was very high, especially in the super competitive leagues that weren't like 12 teams. he was rostered a lot, but when he wasn't, people were popping up to 80%.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, to Minnesota. What do you make of Akers being acquired by the Minnesota Vikings, and what does that do for Madison?
Bye-bye, Alexander Madison. Look, going into the season, I was so out on Madison. He now, of course, he had limited snaps his first 4 seasons playing behind Cook, but he was really good his first 2 seasons. But the last 2 seasons with the same limited work, all of his ability to break tackles, shot down, yards per carry, shot down. He was a 4.5 yard per carry the first 2 years. He's a 3.5 yard or so the last 2 years. He can't make anybody miss. With like 9 receptions, he's less than 4 yards per touch, and he hasn't had a tough schedule. Philly's, the whole spine of their defense is weak. Tampa Bay he faced. I know they got Vita Vea, but they're not good. And so, no, he's a replacement player. The thing I like about Akers is we saw at the end of last season, the guy could still play. It's not like he lost everything. On the season, he was over 4 yards a carry. And guess what? He goes back to a coach he worked with. Kevin O'Connell, that was his coach a couple of years ago. So he knows him. They brought him in because he can run the system. So there's no acclimation period here. Oh, maybe this week Akers doesn't get a big role because he just got brought over. But I don't see a world where he's not 60+% of the carries going forward.
All right, I want to just a trickle down effect with the Akers trade from Los Angeles. What is Williams now in terms of running back rankings in Los Angeles?
Well, look, Sean McVay should be put in the Hall of Fame today. Before I get to Kyren Williams, let me just point this out. I get Puka Nacua is doing this stuff, but my real question is, was Cooper Kupp any good without him?
Yeah.
Because right? Because if you could take a 5th round rookie and look at Kupp in his Superman season, he had 1 regular season game with 15 targets. Well, Nacua already has 2. Kupp had 1 game in the regular season of that Superman season with a 150-yard game. Nacua already has that. So was it McVay or was it Cooper Kupp? And right now,
great question.
Right? So right now I'm saying if he could do this with Nacua, and they played San Francisco last week. I get it. They snuck up on Seattle. So back to your question, Kyren Williams. Well, Kyren Williams is playing from the genius as well. Now in week 1, he outplays Akers. I watched the film on this game. Well, it was real simple. When Akers was in the game, Bobby Wagner and company, they just walked everybody up to the box. They were expecting a run. Akers had a few really good runs, but on a lot of them, he was hit 4 yards behind the line by 2 people. He was done. As soon as Kyren Williams came on the field, they walked everybody back, and his big run was against dime defense. So, but look, he's going to get volume. He had 10 targets last week. So Kyren Williams is definitely a running back too. I don't think he's a good player, but volume is king in fantasy football. He is a strong running back too going forward because they really don't have anybody else. Ronnie Rivers, not really. So yeah, he's going to get a lot of work. You got to trust him.
Stay in LA with the Rams for a second. And you mentioned Puka Nacua, and that's actually where I was going to take this one. So with Nacua doing what he's doing right now, knowing that the earliest Cooper Kupp could be back would be week 5, what does this offense look like? I'm going to throw the big word if Kupp is healthy.
So there's 2 parts to this question. One is Cooper Kupp. Nacua is playing a Cooper Kupp role right now, and he's doing very well in it. Cooper Kupp could do more than the Cooper Kupp role because he has so much experience with this offense. He can do so many different things. So it might make sense to keep Nacua in the Cooper Kupp role and give Cooper Kupp more versatility, more outside snaps. Certainly, they both then could thrive, but the ceiling for both comes down. But right now, McVay has this pass, and he's getting it out quick. Does not want Stafford taking hits. We've known for years he could scheme, just like Shanahan. They could scheme players instantly open, and Stafford could make those throws. Now, we know Stafford goes in the toilet sometimes for long periods of time out of nowhere, and that's a real possibility. Right now, he's playing like good Matthew Stafford, but getting it out quickly and with those 2 getting open right away, yeah, they both of their fantasy values will take a hit. I'm going to point that out. Kupp's going to take a hit. He probably is more like wide receiver 13, 14 instead of wide receiver 3, and Nacua instead of whatever he is now, top of the rock, he's probably more like a top 20-ish receiver. They're both valuable.
Jim, what's your take on the fantasy impact of Richardson? I know he's dealing with a concussion. He's in the concussion protocol, but where do you have Richardson as a quarterback and in fantasy?
You know, what I don't like is he also got nicked up in the last drive of week 1.
He did. Took a
Right?
hit, couldn't finish the game.
And now the coach said he could have come back in. Maybe I believe that. Maybe I don't, because it was the end of the game. He didn't really have to prove that. So that's 2 injuries in 2 weeks. Physical style runner. There aren't many other weapons the defense truly has to worry about. So they can just start launching bodies at Richardson. And maybe he's big enough to overcome it. But 2 injuries in 2 weeks, I'm nervous. I'm very nervous because he's going to take a ton of hits.
Let's go to our community. All right, first question, NDU192. This is PPR. DeAndre Swift versus Tampa or Gus Edwards versus Indy. I don't need to give you all the reasons. Jim, you go first, and then I'll respond too.
You know, Edwards, I love Edwards, and I am stunned that Justice Hill is getting more work. A scat back, and then Gus Edwards is still getting his, like last week, 6 yards a carry. I think that Hill was close to 4. They're not even close, but Edwards isn't getting the work. This is a tough matchup, though. And we probably are still without Ronnie Stanley and Tyler Linderbaum. But the thing is, against the Colts, man, you got Grover Stewart and you got DeForest Buckner in the middle of the defense. And guess where Gus Edwards runs? Middle of the defense. So it's a really bad matchup. Now, I still think he gets you 35, 40 yards. DeAndre Swift's a tough one. My thought all along was they didn't have a plan of using him heavily till the NFL playoffs. They had to use him last week. They don't trust Penny, and Gainwell was out. But I think he gets 10 touches at least, and he could get more. If he gets 10 touches, he could go off on Tampa because you got Vita Vea's in the middle, but Swift's getting to the outside. His speed is game changing. So that's why I'm going Swift here.
Yeah,
All right, Jim.
Let me just follow too. I would lean Swift on that one also, for all the reasons you said, and also I just kind of think that you ride the hot hand of DeAndre Swift.
No doubt. All right, Jim. Alex on YouTube. Marquise Brown, Robert Woods, or Jaylen Warren, full PPR.
All right, so as we go through, Woods is against the Jaguars. That they probably are going to trail in this game. He is getting significant targets. So Woods, I think, has a really high floor. Marquise Brown playing Dallas. That's not a good matchup because Dallas is going to bring a ton of heat on Joshua Dobbs. It's going to come fast, and Dallas's corners right now, pretty much, they don't have to cover for long. So
No.
Brown's in a horrible spot. Warren, it's interesting. You would think going to the Raiders, they fix this and get Najee Harris the ball. This is an easy matchup. They probably won't be in obvious passing situations. Warren's gotten a lot of his work because they're in second and long right away and he's on the field quickly. There may not be a lot of second and longs here. I'm going to say Woods is your floor play here, and I'm going to ride him here.
I
Jim,
would lean Warren a little bit, but okay.
You'd lead Warren? Why?
A little bit Warren. Listen, I know it's still a 60-40 split in favor of Najee, but I think the Steelers are going to be able to get their offense going against the Vegas Raiders, and I think there's enough to feed both of those backs for them to be acceptable. And again, remember, I'm assuming this is your flex play, not one of your main starters.
Jim, before we get to your week 3 best bets, I just have one question about another player. Staying in Houston, Nico Collins. Is he going to be week in and week out this fantasy stud that he's been the first 2 weeks?
Yes, he was on an emerging path. He just got hurt a lot. Now, he's got to stay healthy, and he hasn't stayed healthy for 2 years. We don't know that's the case. He is running dominant alpha receiver routes. He is starting on the outside, and he's running those in breakers, leveraging corners, and Stroud is dealing, getting the ball in stride. Nico Collins is a beast after the catch. He's a beast on the boundary, and in the red zone, 50-50 balls are more like 80-20 balls. This guy is the real deal. And like I said, I do think CJ Stroud is perfect for him. That upgrade from Davis Mills to CJ Stroud has been amazing. Nico Collins, he is a definite wide receiver 2 going forward.
Nico Collins came into the year. He's one of my guys that I wrote about that he'll be a fantasy breakout. I did love me some Nico Collins. So, all right, what are your week 3 best bets?
Well, let's take one tonight. And by the way, guys, I heard you talking about Brandon Ayuk. He's hurt. I wonder if he's playing tonight because he was in and out of that game with a shoulder injury. It's a short week. I don't know what the inflammation was like. Be careful on that one. I think he gives it a go, but if they don't need him, they might not use him. But the bet I'm loving tonight, first, I'll just give you one for tonight. Nick Bosa. I got him yesterday on DraftKings over 0.75 sacks at plus 100 money. Now, today they changed it to put over 0.25 sacks for minus 140. Don't like the juice there, but here's the deal. Left tackle Andrew Thomas, out. Left guard Ben Bredesen, out. The center and the right guard both making their third career starts, and Evan Neal, do I have to say any more, on the right side? And no Saquon Barkley. There's going to be a lot of obvious passing downs. There are going to be plenty of pressure situations. And you think we're really stopping Nick Bosa on a primetime game?
No. The answer to that is no. All right, so you got Bosa. What else do you like, Jim?
So the Chiefs over 30.5 points against the Bears. I like isolating single team totals because there's a lot of things that can happen in this Bears-Chiefs game. One of them is Justin Fields is talking up this week. He might just start doing his own thing and going back to running the ball. So there's a lot of variables there. But the one thing that's not a variable is the Bears can't play defense. And they lost Eddie Jackson last week. He was carted off with a foot injury. And then look, he might not be very good, but Kyler Gordon, he's on the IR. So a bad defense is without a couple more people. Now, the Chiefs, look, 17 points against Jacksonville. We didn't like that. 20 against the Lions. Kelsey, another week of health. This offense needs a big game. The Bears can't stop them. And I think there's plenty of scenarios. So if Fields gets going on the ground and he goes crazy, it's a shootout and they get there. If it's not and the Bears stink, it's short fields for the Chiefs and easy scores there. So, yeah, the Chiefs over 30.5 points. I love that one.
Beautiful. And your last one?
And the last one, you know what? I do like the Cowboys minus 12.5 at Arizona. Arizona almost won both games. Week one, I knew that teams would be overlooking Arizona. Everybody thinks it's an automatic win. Washington came in and was sleepwalking. They barely got out of there. The Giants, for whatever reason, after coming off that loss to Dallas, they should have been sleepwalking. And then in the second half, we actually got to play. And then they go out and beat them. Arizona's not a good team. This line, even though it's on the road, should be 15.5. Dallas isn't playing games this year. Dallas is coming out. They are ripping at defensively, getting after you. Offensively, look, they look good offensively. I know they played the Jets in week one, but that was fine. But we see the plan they have right now. They've got you covered through the air. They got it on the ground. The play calling, look, we hate Mike McCarthy sometimes, but right now what he's doing, you can't argue. Dallas is going to throttle them.
Yeah, I you know what? It's interesting, Jim, because I was talking to Keith before the show about I'm in a margin pool. So you're trying to pick the biggest blowout of the week. And he said he would go Cowboys over Arizona. So laying the 12.5. Jim, you're the best. We appreciate it. Thanks for cutting out some time with us on this Thursday morning. And good luck with all your plays this weekend, all right?
Yes, good luck and have a great week 3, guys.
You got it. You as well. Jim Coventry. Hit him up on Twitter or X at Jim Coventry, NFL, RotoWire. 2022 FSWA Football Writer of the Year finalist, Kings Classic Fantasy Football 2021 champ. Fantastic.
Love the championship.
NDU 192. We answered your question already.
Yeah, we did that already.
Both Jim and Keith would go DeAndre Swift, ride the hot hand against Tampa, and not Gus Edwards against Indy. So there you have it. We'll come back. We got a lot more to get into. We got some Kelsey conversation as well. We've got some fantasy picks too. It's Moose and Keith with you. What? Who doesn't like talking about dating
a love
scene?
Story.
It really is. It really is. The documentary on the Kelsey brothers,
yes.
Tremendous, by the way. It is very, very, very emotional. Very emotional. Moose and Keith with you on a Thursday right here, Better Sports Network.
I like to eat my feelings. So when I'm like super sad, you know, single serving pint sizes of Ben and Jerry's, I just start shoveling that in, and it makes me feel bigger and better. But so let's eat our feelings here. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk football players, food. We're gonna pair them up. Who is represented by what food? All right, I want to just shout out Hal Alexander in there for CMC. Christian McCaffrey is Rocky Road ice cream. A little bit of everything.
Yeah,
does
it? Going out.
I like it, man. You know it. I love me some Rocky Road ice cream. Bijan Robinson prime rib. You know what? Bijan Robinson prime rib with a baked potato and some cream spinach on the side. That's what I'm talking about. That is the King's dinner. And Bijan Robinson, I don't care if the dude from The Athletic says only 301, touches. You know what? In honor of Card Sharks, I'm going to say, guys, that I think that number is going to be a little bit higher there for Bijan Robinson. So get your knife, get your fork, you got your steak, you got your Bijan.
Yeah, that's what's up. You're on death row, and they say you get one last meal, and you just say Bijan Robinson.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I'm totally down with that. Love it.
I got to jump in on one real quick because Mr. Scamper said Kareem Hunt is candy corn, and I actually had a player, Tyler Boyd, was going to be candy corn for me, and basically it's that nobody likes it, but it's always there. It's always there, and somebody always puts their hand in and grabs some and has some, and they're like, well, and afterwards they're like, why did I eat that? That's Tyler Boyd. He always gets drafted, and he's just kind of there, and nobody knows why. Nobody knows why they take him. Nobody knows where it comes from. Where does the candy corn even come from? Like, it's just there. It's just there.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
All right, I want to remind everybody, play the real-time sports pick'em contest. Set a lineup of player props, hit them all, and you win. Combine multiple sports or play your favorite NFL, MLB, PGA, more. 2 correct picks wins 3 times your entry, 3 correct 6 times, all the way up to 6 correct picks, 40 times your entry. Go to rtsports.com/alarm. First-time depositors get 100% instant match up to 200 smackaroos. Please play responsibly. For gambling help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Keith, let's fire out some week 3 parlay plays or prop plays. What do you love? What's your first pick?
All right, let's go to, we'll take you over. Want to just do, well, let's do one for
no, not tonight.
Yeah, no, not tonight. Let's go to Denver and Miami. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm going to get Tyreek Hill over 83.5 receiving yards. He's going to bounce back from a little bit of a down week last week. Guess what? It's not the Patriots defense he's playing against. Give me Tyreek Hill over 83.5.
All right, let's go Houston, Jacksonville. We just talked about this guy, a Keith Irizarry special. I'm going to go Nico Collins over 54.5 receiving yards for the Houston Texans down in Jacksonville.
Love me some Nico. All right, let's go with a borderline revenge situation here. And hear me out when I say this. Justin Fields is going to take revenge on the media. Justin Fields is taking revenge on everything ahead of him. And he goes over 58.5 rushing yards against the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs still blow out the Bears, as evidenced by the Bears losing basically every single time Justin Fields is under center. But I think he gets over 58.5 rushing yards.
All right, Jets home. They've lost 14 straight to the New England Patriots. I'm not going to give you a pick on the game, obviously, but I'm going to give you a Jet. He was bothered by the amount of touches he had against the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go Breece Hall over 46.5 yards rushing. Now, I know New England's defense good. Rush defense is good. Here's the thing. I mean, he could go over that in one carry. I mean, that's the thing with Breece Hall, is that he is not a guy that you need to have 12, 13, 14, 15 touches. He doesn't necessarily need to be a volume guy. You know, he could break 180 yards. So I'm going to go Breece Hall over 46.5 rushing yards for the New York Jets.
All right, I will give you one more play, and I just wanted to double check this one. Yep, there it is. All right, so I am going to go with Deshaun Watson over 19.8 fantasy points. Listen, Watson has not been great. He's been fine at best, but with no Nick Chubb, I think this offense will rely a little bit more on him to kind of spread the ball around a little bit, and he'll amass some fantasy points for you.
All right, last one for me. We chat about a little bit. Should be my margin pick this week. Cowboys. They're on the road in Arizona. 4:25 kickoff on Sunday. CeeDee Lamb, 69.5 receiving yards for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to tag the over in that one. 69.5. The Cardinals not particularly good. Defense not particularly good. I understand this could be a margin game, but we do know this. Dak loves Pepper and CeeDee Lamb. You saw it against the Jets last weekend. There is no Sauce Gardner on the field for the Arizona Cardinals. No DJ Reed either. He had 11 catch against the Jets. I'd go over 69.5 receiving yards for CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys Sunday in Arizona.
I like it. Again, you head over to Real Time Sports, the Pick'em contest. It's awesome. You set your lineup, kind of like what we just did for you right there. Pick as many as you want, as little as you want. And if it's the first time you're heading there, you deposit your money in there, you get 100% instant match of up to $200. I like free money.
All right, Travis Kelce's in the headlines, not just because he's an all-time great and a future Hall of Famer at the tight end spot, because he is reportedly seeing, dating, hanging out with superstar icon Taylor Swift. Here's his brother Jason Kelce on WIP talking about Travis and Taylor.
Doing? How those two doing? How those love? No, that's all right.
Hey,
yeah.
Jason,
you know everything.
know.
Everything you say gets quoted on these days. You know that, right?
I know, I get it, and that's the way the world works. And Tony kind of blindsided me with that question on Thursday night, and I don't know. It's hard to answer because I don't really know a lot about what's happening in Travis's love life, and I try to keep his business,
sure,
and stay out of that world. But having said that, man, I think he's doing great, and I think it's all 100% true, and I hope that this soon goes to mountain. No, I'm joking. I don't really know what's happening. So.
Wow. Good for them, Jason. Good for them, man. That's excellent.
I mean, look what you made me do. I just hope that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift never have, I don't know, a cruel summer. I don't want them to have any bad blood either. Never fill any blank spaces.
Well, don't you get nervous dating Taylor Swift? Because if it doesn't end well, you're going to be basically the topic of multiple songs.
So So you think about it, right? It's like if you were a single man or woman dating a comedian. You're always
then all of a sudden you go and you're in the stand-up routine. Like
you're the butt of the joke.
Right. You're right. Exactly. Isn't that a little nerve-wracking? By the way, Jason Kelce basically says, I don't know anything. Which I find hard to believe. First off, they're brothers.
And they're like close brothers too.
And they're close brothers. Don't they do a podcast together?
Yes.
I mean, they chat. They've got a documentary going on. We can go back to the days at Cincinnati. So, and then he basically says, yes, it's 100% true.
And I also love Travis saying that he's like almost embarrassed by it, yet it was kind of him that put it out there.
Yeah. Why would you be embarrassed dating Taylor Swift?
No.
She's like a billionaire and she's a smoke show.
Yeah, superstar icon. Hey, so I just want to switch gears just for a second. We got like 90 seconds left. So I am making my borderline debut doing something for you've done public address announcing, right? PA?
Yeah, not a ton, but yes.
I've messed around once. So the social studies chair at Jody's school asked if I would be willing to do Saturday's homecoming game for the school. It's a very big event.
Nice.
They're actually having like war heroes and stuff like that there. Here's the rub. 100% chance of rain. So the crowd's not going to be as big. I was ready to go all in. So I had asked him, like,
you can't let the crowd decide it. You got to be into it no matter what.
Now, so I've already decided. Tell me if you're okay with
time.
I'm gonna because I know a lot of the teachers at the school, and a lot of them will be there. I was thinking of like making some, when we're, there's a timeout on the field, being like, hey, just a reminder, head over to Miss Russo's third period class, blah, 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 like do things like that just for fun and make fun of some of the teachers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, why not?
Throw a few in there.
Is this a roast or are you doing?
Yeah, no, I want to make fun of some of the teachers. Yes.
You should put it. Can I get some video? You should tweet that.
If it's not a monsoon, I'll probably Instagram live a little bit of it.
You got to do that.
Yeah. And Austin and Alex are going to be with me. I already told both of them they could be my spotters.
You're going to have a great time.
I think it'll be fun. Yes. I'm just hoping it's not pouring. I'm hoping it's not
hopefully it's not raining. But are you out in the air? Like,
there's a meeting. There's a meeting that's starting shortly to decide where they're putting me if it's raining. So my guess is they don't have a booth.
Well, enjoy that. Hopefully they give you an umbrella. Have fun. That's great.
It's going to be
great.
Fun. Yes. And we'll talk about it on Monday. Yes.
Lean into it. That would be my advice.
Yes.
Guys, have a great weekend. Talk to you Monday.
Falcons!
That's awesome.